Sorry. The Speaker of the House, conferment of right status for safety nets as large is something we from closing opposition find it insidious. I'll tell you why in my substantive matter. But then basic economics that everyone is supposed to get in this house. So in one voice, Howell says that the surpluses of the people are the ones that would give to the surpluses of the rich or the people that exist in the society are the ones that are used to pay these safety net, are the ones that are used to pay these welfares. Right now, supposing we are to make sure that it becomes a right, means that everyone is supposed to enjoy it. If everyone is enjoying it, basic economics and common sense that the bandwidth will reduce. The bandwidth will reduce at large. See, we all concede that states at large, whether it makes sense or not, I don't care. But we all concede that states at large have finite resources. See, if we say that states at large have finite resources, and then there are great allocations of welfare will be sectarian, would be given finite resources to welfare programs that would give you probably $30 per day or $30 per hour. Supposing it becomes a right and everyone is supposed to enjoy it, the bandwidth then reduces because right now everyone is getting it. And the same surplus that you claim that you are taking from the rich people in the society, those same people you now be giving them again. Where lies the logic? Where lies the logic in your case? Like you should get simple things such as this so that you don't run some argumentations. So Kumbi in one voice, please Kumbi, relax, Jimmy. Kumbi in one voice says that look, it's the structures that have caused the poverty and whatnot. See, there's a disconnect in what Kumbi wants to propagate. Because you told me that the structures, but then in another voice, you told me that then let's give these people money, let's give these people welfare, instead of fixing the structures. Look, if you don't let us fix the structures at the top there, how then do you expect us to be giving these people money? More important, to be giving these people welfare, how then do you expect us to be giving these people welfare? We don't buy into that argument. Ochi then says something else such as capitalists, they want to fight capitalist tendencies and whatnot, some hula baloo that they want to run. But then listen, social safety nets are supposed to be the minimum standard of living that exists in the society. That look, no one falls below this net. Everyone is at this level, and no one will fall below this net. But once the bandwidth reduces, because right now it's going to cover everyone, the minimum standard of living then reduces. This then buys into the capitalist tendencies that you want to like negate or something. So on that context, OG is out of this debate. But then moving on to our novel extension. Why it's primarily important, and why closing opposition stands out. We tell you that listen, there exist two things that are supposed to be gotten in this debate: natural rights and then socio-economic rights. Natural rights are things that are necessarily conferred to you by God or whatever it is you want to confer upon yourself. The government can't take life away from you in no way. Your freedom of association and all those kind of things are natural rights that are given to you. But for socio-economic rights, you'd have to give in an input. You'd have to give something back. There has to be reciprocity for socio-economic rights. That is why not everyone enjoys pensions, because some people work, they pay taxes, and then you have to give them those pensions because they deserve it. Those are socio-economic rights. This thing being a right would fall under economic rights. If it then falls under economic rights, where then lies the input? If there is no input, there can't be reciprocity. It's basic economics that this entire house is supposed to get in this debate. The next thing we bring to you is that listen, it's a bad practice that the government should be held to at ransom by interest groups or social groups at large. It is, look, let's not argue as though we are in a utopia. We exist in a normal Kumbi, sit down. We exist in like a plain world. We should be real with each other. Look, there will come a time where government will have to cut down on some things. But once it becomes a right, government can't do that anymore. But we know that it has to be something that the government has to do. But right now, when you want the government to ransom, these advocacy groups and these interest groups will go the long way of preventing the government from facilitating their duties adequately. Let me take.
Now, David spent a lot of time telling us how rights must be universal and open to everybody for them to consider the rights in the first place. His example of rights is pensions, which is common sense that is beneficial to only people who have fulfilled the contract of employment and are arbitrary. So that means there's a shaft in your case.
Listen. You pointing out a shaft to a CAP member, this pathetic. One thing, listen. This falls into socio-economic rights. Socio-economic rights implicitly come with reciprocity. If they come with reciprocity, you'd have to give something to the government for the government to give something back to you in this instance.
Yeah.
Government, look, VJ, one thing we're supposed to get at large that it's a bad practice for you to go the extra mile of letting government be held at ransom by these groups. But we all bear in mind that there would come a time where the government would have to do something, where the government would have to let go or something, where the government would have to prioritize some other things above welfare. But then they can't do that anymore, because right now you are saying that it's no longer a privilege that they are giving to you, but right now it should be a right. If it be that it is a right, then it's rather insidious, because we can't have a government that would be held at ransom to all these corporations. Do you have anything to say?
All right. So what this guy said is that when you make something a right, you must provide resources for it at all levels, at the highest level. We say you cut your short according to your size. You guys don't engage why poor nations can give what they can afford.
See, good. Listen. Cutting our coats according to our size, or whatever proverb we like to use in this debate. Listen, supposing we are cutting it, that's why I'm telling you that, look, the populace increases, the people would have to now fend for, the people would have to now give welfare to have increased, the bandwidth will have to be reduced. This is basic economics. The bandwidth will have to be reduced. After the bandwidth is reduced, it's more or less like infinitesimal to the person you are giving this welfare to. It doesn't impact his life in any way. But then these safety nets are supposed to be like requirements, something that no one is supposed to fall below. Something is supposed to be something like the minimum standard of living that everyone is entitled to. You are not supposed to fall below it. We give you something that you can rest on until you get a job. You are willing to work until you have to get yourself up and running. That is why we set safety nets that no one will fall below this metric. But then if you are to buy into your model, as I've explained to you, the bandwidth reduces, then meaning implicitly our minimum standard of living also increases. This is good for capitalist industries or whatnot that you want us to buy. On that note, we cannot buy your case. Listen, there's a clear disparity between natural rights and socio-economic rights. Listen, natural rights are conferred to you by whatever God dates, whatever, and cannot be curtailed by like the government at large. But with respect to socio-economic rights, it's hand come. There has to be reciprocity existing here. I've never been this proud to come from closing position.
You are.